What's up, LA? It's Ryan Dyrud, co-host of the LA Football Podcast. I got to take a quick second to talk about one of our newest sponsors, Garrison Brothers Whiskey. They are the first legal bourbon distillery outside of Kentucky and Tennessee, making it the first legal bourbon distillery in Texas. If you are a whiskey fan, this is one of the best on the market. All Garrison Brothers bourbons are wheated, which is the same style that has become popular with industry icons such as Pappy Van Winkle. If you don't know what Pappy Van Winkle is, look it up. It's like $1,300 a bottle. Garrison Brothers is going to be a lot cheaper than that, but you get that same taste. They also hold the annual bartending competition called the Bourbon Brawl, which pits bartenders in a head-to-head challenge to create the best bourbon cocktail for a chance at a cash prize. 2021 will be the first year we've opened up California bartenders. Here we are in LA, and they are branching out to our neck of the woods. You can head to Garrison Brothers. Our link in the description below. You can pick up Garrison Brothers at Total Wine, Bevno, or order straight from their website by going to the link below. It's delicious. It's great. It's fantastic. I'm a huge whiskey drinker. I recommend it. And for the price, there's not much better out there. Garrison Brothers, make sure to check them out.
With USC great and NFL stud, Frostee Rucker.
The Trojans back in front.
And LAFB founder Ryan Dyrud on the Believe Podcast Network and LAFBnetwork.com. This is your destination for Los Angeles football.
Los Angeles. What's happening? What's good? Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever you are listening. And thank you for making the LA Football Podcast a part of your day. We are on the LA Football Network, LAFBnetwork.com, always on the Believe Podcast Network. How are y'all doing? It's a beautiful day here in LA. Got another great episode heading into the weekend. Josh Palmer, third-round draft pick for your Los Angeles Chargers. He's going to jump on with me, chat a little bit about the draft process, his journey from Canada to Florida to Tennessee and now to LA. Well-traveled young man. So a lot of fun conversation with that. And then after that, I'm going to finally get into the schedules a little bit for both the Chargers and the Rams. I'm not going to go game by game. I actually, tomorrow, for those that listen as well, LAFB Live, typically with myself and Stephen Haglund. We are going live tomorrow. Stephen will be away, has good family stuff, birthday party. He'll be attending. But I will still be on, and I will be having a different guest on join me. And that one, we might go game by game for both Rams and Chargers. But today I'm going to pick 5 of the games I'm looking forward to most for each team. So don't worry, I won't bore you by going every single game, just myself talking. It's more fun when you can banter. So I'm just going to go 5 games I'm looking forward to, but we're going to first talk about Josh Palmer. But first, got to talk about Brewery X. Newest sponsor. We've had them for a couple weeks now. If you don't know them, they're in Anaheim on the La Palma Beer Trail, right by Angel Stadium or the Honda Center. Over 30 beers that they brew right in-house. Over 10 seltzers. They have hardest seltzers, which are 10% ABV. They have a Jungle Juice hardest seltzer. If you can remember college, remember having Jungle Juice, this will bring you right back to those glory days. Glory days, hangovers, whatever you want to call it. But hey, they have Jungle Juice. They have a bunch of different hard seltzers. You can check out, like I said, over 30 beers. Phenomenal food. They have great pizza. It's a huge facility right in Anaheim right there. So you got to go visit them. Tell them the guys at LAFB sent you. Hang out. I'll have a link in the description as well. You can visit. You can order curbside pickup. You can order growlers. You can order, beer to go, 6-packs. They got a lot of good stuff. And hey, you're supporting local. So super pumped to be working with the guys over at Brewery X. They're an awesome family ran style business. So make sure to check them out. Also got to talk about Manscaped. They're sponsoring the whole network. Bringing Manscaped on to the LA Football Network. I just got, you're on YouTube. I haven't even opened it yet because I got to test that. I just received the Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0. This thing is like just on the market. Here, let's do that. Let's just open it while I'm on with you guys. It's okay. We can. This is my show. We can take some time on this, right? Let's see here. Open this bad boy up. Oh, yeah. Just looks nice. Here we go. That's precision right there. Hasn't been used yet. Get the nice little hum. Nice little light. No cut technology. So, we'll take this baby for a spin, for a test drive, and report back. But extremely excited to welcome Manscaped as the newest member of the LA football family. You can head to manscaped.com, use the promo code LAFB20 for 50% off and free shipping. That's LAFB20 for 20% off. Did I say 50%? 20% off and free shipping. Make sure to head there. Tell them the guys at LAFB sent you. And finally, betonline.ag, your wagering casino online. NBA's entering the playoffs. NHL entering the playoffs. Just wrapped up. I think today is the final game. So tomorrow's our first playoff games. You can bet on who's going to win the Super Bowl. Right now, the Rams are, I think, fourth in odds to win the Super Bowl. Is Rodgers going to retire? Is he not? Is he going to be on the Broncos? Is he going to be on the Raiders? Is he going to be on the Packers? You can bet on that. Plenty of stuff to do over at betonline.ag. Make sure to head there. And 50% welcome bonus if you have not signed up yet. You can do it from your mobile device or your desktop. And like I said, you get 50% welcome bonus if you use Bitcoin. There's no fees or anything like that. So that's another option if you're big into Dogecoin or something. Transfer that over. Or maybe it's just Bitcoin. But I don't know. Is there a difference? I guess they're crypto, but they're technically different. So anyway, Bitcoin, no fees. I don't know if they take Dogecoins. I don't want to give you false information. But betonline.ag, your wagering casino online. All right. Got to get through all those. Got a lot of new partners for the LA Football Network, which is great. Just means we're growing. A lot of awesome stuff here. So, but let's go ahead and jump in to my convo with Josh Palmer. Awesome kid, like I said. Have a lot of fun with it. So, Chargers fans out there, hope you enjoy and learn something about your newest receiver. All right, Chargers fans, Bold Nation, extremely honored and pleasure to have a next guest on the LA Football Podcast. He's the Chargers' third-round pick, played for the University of Tennessee, wide receiver Joshua Palmer. What's up, man? How you doing?
Good. I'm glad to be on the show. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. Look at that. You got the blue skies in the background, just hanging out at the facility, getting done with the first day of minicamp. How was it?
It was good. Just getting acclimated with everything. And, we just did a lot of install. Not a lot, but we did some install, just getting on the same page as the coaches and understanding how practices run and things like that.
Yeah, probably a lot more mental stuff than actual physical stuff, I'd assume at this point, right?
Yeah, I mean, the practice is only an hour, just routes on air and just getting in and out of break, getting in and out of huddle, in and out of huddles and, just going over the plays and stuff.
Yeah, man. So it's a long process, but just getting in there and, starting to learn that. I know the NFL acumen is a little different than college. So I'm sure that'll be the hardest part, but I guess that's what these camps are for. So, but first of all, I just want to say congrats, man. You know how hard you guys work to get to this level, all the work you put in and, juniors and high school and then college. And then here you are in the NFL. So congrats on making it a huge accomplishment. Walk me through just what it was like on draft night. Who called you first? What were the emotions? Who were you with? Were you just with family, friends? What was that night like for you?
It was definitely a night to remember. I was surrounded by a lot of family and friends, and we were just down in Knoxville. And when I first got the call, it was the GM calling me, Tom Telesco called me. And, I was so excited that I just started calling everybody coach. If you see that on the film and on the video. And he just told me, like, I'm actually the GM. And I was like, oh, crap, the GM called me. I mean, sorry. I don't know. Everybody just turned into a coach at that point. And, didn't really get a lot of time to celebrate because I had to go on a bunch of Zoom calls and do media and stuff. But after that, I was just able to spend some time with my family and my friends, just nice and chill.
That's good. Yeah, take it. I know it's kind of the blessing, the curse of all the tech now we have with everything being on Zoom is they can force you quicker. Before, it's like you get drafted, you have that whole night to enjoy, and then you fly the next day. But I guess nowadays they're like, all right, you're coming on in 10 minutes. So but yeah, no, I saw it when you're calling Tom coach. So hey, I think that's a term of endearment though. Coach isn't bad.
Yeah,
I think you're okay there. So, obviously it's been well documented now. You moved from Canada down to Florida to go to high school. I'm curious, so what was it like being 15, 16 years old, whatever age you were, moving countries? It's one thing to move across state to go to a different school, but moving to a different country, how hard of a transition was that?
It was definitely different. I was 15 at the time, but the way my parents raised me, I was almost forced to do what they taught me.
Mm-hmm.
And as a kid, you learn all these lessons, but you never really fully take them in until you're put in the position to where now you actually have to use them.
Yeah.
And I was forced to do that at 15, and fortunately enough, I was able to succeed while I was down there living with my aunt and uncle, and it put me in the position that I am right now. And even for that transition from high school to college, I already felt like I was 2 years in, because I already did it for my last 2 years of high school. So that was definitely a good thing that helped me.
Absolutely. Was it strictly like a football move while you went down there?
Yeah, for sure. Football move for sure. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I think it worked out. And what went into the decision into choosing Tennessee? I think I saw, if I'm not mistaken, you were recruited by Syracuse also, which, would have been closer to home. What ended up making you decide to be a volunteer?
Just the relationships that I had, and just the guys that I was around. I enjoyed their company, and it just felt like home. There wasn't too much going on. It was a good place to get away. It's not Knoxville's not like Toronto. It's not like downtown. It's definitely not like for a lot of Miami.
Yeah.
And it was just calm and chill, and I fell in love with the school.
That's good. Yeah, no, it's a cool place. Tennessee's got a lot of cool, character and different stuff going on down there. A little different than LA where you are now, but
and everything is close.
That's true. Yeah,
everything is close,
which is not the case where you are now. So
no,
everything's super spread out.
Everything is far.
Yeah. So obviously you're in Orange County now. I'm up in North LA, so we're probably like 25 miles apart, but like an hour and a half, 2 hour drive, like depending on traffic.
Yeah.
So being from Canada, I got to ask, are you a hockey fan at all? Are you a Leafs fan?
No. Well, yeah, I guess I'm a Leafs fan by default, but I don't really watch hockey.
Okay. I'm like, you have to be. The Leafs are good this year. I think they're first in the East, so you got to follow
really?
it. But yeah, playoffs start tomorrow.
Huh.
So
I'll tune in then.
Yeah, grab your Leafs gear. So no, I'm from Colorado originally, so I played hockey, so I'm a big hockey guy. So anytime I meet anyone that's into hockey, I'm like, I got to bring it up, but
yeah,
it's okay. Understandable. So football guy. So going into this year, obviously there's, I don't want to say pressure, but I'm sure you have your own goals you want to accomplish. There's the team goals and all that, but just from a receiver standpoint, from what you want to put in, what are kind of the goals you want to accomplish as your first year in the NFL?
Just learning as much as possible from the veterans. I got great guys in the room. I don't even have to announce them at this point. Everybody knows who's on the Chargers. Like Keenan Allen, you have Williams, and you got the guys that they got last year. And I keep hearing a lot of competition in the room, but it's good competition. You're able to learn and grow.
Yeah.
And from there, I just want to keep growing as a player, and not just my first year, but every year. And if I feel like I'm growing and getting better and helping the team, all the awards and accolades that are obviously goals of mine. That will speak for itself, and that will come.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel it all starts from within myself and from within this program, from within this team.
Yeah, that's a perfect, I think, mentality and mindset you have to have, because if you get too far ahead of yourself, you pass on the important things, which is just get better 1% at a time, inch by inch stuff. My co-host, he was traveling today, but my co-host Frostee Rucker was in the league 13 years, so he's always like preaching that, like just brick by brick, chopping wood, just get better every day. And so and you got some good ones to learn from, obviously, as you alluded to, and stuff like that. So I don't know how many Chargers fans know this, but the secondary coach now for the Chargers, Derek Ansley, was actually the defensive coordinator at Tennessee, where you're from. Do you think he was he in that draft room saying, once we got to the third round, like, dude, I was against this guy every day in practice. I saw what he did to my secondary. We need him on our team. Did you talk to him at all during this process?
I saw him yesterday when I see him every day now, but first time I saw him was yesterday since Tennessee. And he was just really excited that I was here. Coach Ansley, I have a good relationship. And I'm excited to go against the DBs this year, knowing he's coaching as well. So it's gonna be fun.
You get to wreak havoc again on him right away. Didn't miss a beat. So I like to think he had to have. When you play and you go against the opposing, I think those coaches can tell talent, and so I think he had to have some say in that. And obviously it worked out. So One more football question. I got a few, just, get to know you, let the fans get to know you questions just for fun. Obviously, your quarterback, Justin Herbert, took the league by storm last year as a rookie, now going into the second year. It's kind of probably a silly question because I probably know the answer, but just how excited are you to get thrown to from a guy that was rookie of the year, broke basically every record in the NFL, and now you get to line up on the field and catch balls from him? How excited are you for that opportunity?
Really excited. Can't even really put into words. He has a lot of talent, and I'm just excited to once everything starts to roll around, I'm just excited to get on the same page as him and understand each other completely and get the timing down. And I feel with the group of guys in the receiver room, what I can learn from them, what I can learn from the QB room, what I can learn from the OC, the wide receiver coach. I feel like it's a good blend to where we're gonna have a good season and really grow as a team.
Yeah, I think this is the most hype around this team I can remember in a long time, and part of that is your guys' draft class and just what they were able to do last year, the new coaching staff. So a lot of fun coming, I think, for this team, and I'm excited that you're going to be a part of that. So, who was is there a receiver that you kind of modeled your game after growing up, or you just take bits and pieces from everyone, or is there a player you're like, that's the guy I want to be like?
Yeah, I take bits and pieces of everyone, but I would say the biggest pieces that I've taken from receivers have definitely been Julio, Keenan, just watching on film, man, Antonio Brown, Devontae Adams, just different. I look for different things from different players, and those are probably my top. I mentioned 4 or 5, but those are definitely my top ones that I go back to watch to learn.
Yeah, those are good ones. What would you say in your game? Obviously, you want to, be a technician and be good at all of it. Hands, route running, speed, all that. But just at where you're at right now, what would you say is like your defining skill set, if you will?
Being able to catch with my hands far away from my body and
Huge.
Having strong hands and being able to attack the ball wherever it is.
Yeah. No, so I played receiver in high school. I don't have the size. You can't see me really, but I'm 5'7". So my career ended in high school, but that was mine too. It was route running and being able to catch with their hands, because so many guys catch with their body, and then as soon as you get to those stronger arm quarterbacks, that's not going to translate. So that's a good one. All right. Here's probably the hardest question always for anyone, but favorite movie. Let's get to know you a little bit. Let's get the Chargers fans to know who Josh Palmer is. So what's your favorite movie?
Favorite movie? I would say my favorite movie is, let me say this. My favorite franchise is Star Wars.
Okay. All right.
I like all the Star Wars movies, all the Star Wars cartoons. I like everything. I'm a Star Wars junkie.
Is there one that you like the best, or all of them?
I would say the second prequel.
Okay.
Or the second.
It's confusing.
You know how everything is confusing. So I would say starting from when Anakin was a kid, that first trilogy.
Okay. So 1, 2, and 3.
When Anakin was episodes 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
The New Hope and stuff like that. Sometimes it can get confusing because some people may think the first 3 were the second trilogy was the first 3 kind of.
They came out like the 70s. Yeah.
Yeah, but definitely the ones with Anakin, Darth Vader. Those are Darth Vader is my favorite character.
Okay.
Definitely that first trilogy is my favorite. But I would say my favorite individual movie, to answer your question, I would say is It.
Okay. So a little horror movie there.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah. I'm not a huge horror guy. I'm more a comedy guy, but
I hate horror actually. But because I hate horror, but I could do a clown. It's just when they start to get into The Conjuring and all that other unseen
spiritual stuff.
Yeah, that stuff I can't. I can't do that.
Count me out on that. No way. How long have you been out in Orange County now? Have you been there? Probably not very long, right?
Nah, I got here 2 days ago.
Okay, yeah. So obviously you're super busy, but once you have some downtime, whenever that is, you got to try to go to Disneyland and go to Star Wars Land. It's pretty.
I need to. I definitely need to. I need a car first, but I definitely need to.
I'll drive down. I'll pick you up. We'll go to Star Wars Land. Because when I went before everything shut down from COVID. Me and my wife went, and we were for their big ride. We got there at 8 a.m. to sign up for it, and when it was our turn to go, which was like 6 o'clock at night, it shut down. So I didn't even get. So I still need to go on it too. So got to go to Star Wars.
Yeah, it's definitely. I definitely want to go. I've been hearing a lot about it, and from different people. But that's something I definitely want to do while I'm down here for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you're close to it, so we'll get you there. We'll make it happen. Okay. Favorite, what's your favorite food or food group or food type? Is it something mom's cooking or is
I'd
it an
say
actual place?
I like Chinese food and I like Jamaican food.
Jamaican food. Okay. Yeah. I
Yeah,
love
well,
Jamaican food.
I'm Jamaican. My parents are from the island, so they're from
Beautiful.
Jamaica. Yeah,
Beautiful island. Yeah. So you like the good, like spice, like the jerk
yeah,
spice or
yeah. I like spice.
yeah. Well, okay. LA. I don't know of any good Jamaican spots, but if you like spice, there's plenty of spicy foods out here in LA. So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can
It
find your
probably
heart's content there. Have you been anywhere yet, or has it just been basically takeout or
just the
delivery?
hotel and the facility.
Yeah. So okay. All right.
Yeah,
You'll branch out. You'll get there. We'll give you some spots.
yeah.
All right, I got two more for you, then we'll let you go, my man. What's something about Canada that people here in America probably don't know?
That we don't say a as much as you think we do,
Yeah. Yeah. You don't go
especially in Toronto.
Toronto, yeah, Toronto's like an extension of America almost, like in
Yeah,
it culture wise. But
yeah.
you
We
don't say
definitely don't. We don't say a as much as people think we do, and if we do, we use it as like the way we say a is like how some states in America say ain't it.
yeah.
It's kind of like that.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense. Yeah. So you don't say
Yeah.
like you don't say oot in a boot.
Sorry, what?
You don't say going oot in a boot, oot in a boot, eh?
Oh no, definitely. Oh no, definitely don't say that.
See, what's funny is I have family in Minnesota, and they say that in Minnesota all the time. But everyone just thinks that is like Canadian. But I'm like, no, they say
Yeah,
that in, like the North Midwest, Minnesota,
yeah,
South Dakota. So,
yeah.
do they have Tim Hortons out in Toronto, or is that just a West Coast Canada?
There's Tim Hortons there.
Yeah, I went to Vancouver a while back, and that's like the Starbucks of
Yeah,
Vancouver was Tim Hortons everywhere.
yeah,
It's good though. It's cool.
yeah. It's cool.
What's something in LA that you, besides Disneyland and all that, but what's something that you maybe heard about in LA that you're excited to experience or try out?
I hear a lot of people tell me that whenever they go out, they always see somebody famous randomly just out in public. So I look forward to the moment where I see someone I recognize as famous out in public. So I can be like, I can see them and be like, oh, that's that person right there. You know?
Yeah, it'll happen. That's you now too. That's you now walking down.
Yeah, maybe in about 3 years.
Yeah, it'll happen. Yeah, you just have a rookie of the year. Here we go. But no, yeah, you see it all the time, whether in Orange County at the beach, down in Laguna, Newport, or up in LA. There's anywhere you go in Beverly Hills, all that. There's always people cruising around. So, well, bro, I appreciate you, man. I know, busy day. Happy you got through the first day of mini camp. Hopefully this is a great weekend for you, and you and all the rookies learn a lot. We're super pumped and thrilled that you're here in LA, and looking forward to just following your journey. And hopefully we'll get you on again sometime during the season and talk again. But thanks for taking the time. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. Take care. All right. Stay safe. Stay healthy. We'll talk soon.
All right. Goodbye.
All right. Big thanks to Josh Palmer, wide receiver for your Los Angeles Chargers, 3rd round draft pick. I love doing these with the new rookies because it's like I learned something too because I try to watch tape on a lot of these guys that could potentially get drafted by the Rams or the Chargers, but you don't like know them at all. Like I try to do my research beforehand and get some stuff on their background, but it's not like if I were to have a Chris Harris Jr. who's been in the league 11 years or someone where it's like there's a lot of stuff that about. So it's fun getting to know these kids and it's funny. You see them as, these stars now, these celebrities, these athletes that are professional athletes. And, but they're still kids isn't the right word, but they're still, they're just graduated college. They're just now in their first real job. Just happens to be, they've been plunged into a role where they're going to be on primetime television 17 times a year. They're going to have cameras in their faces and mics in their faces all the time. So anyway, appreciate the time from Josh Palmer. Really, good kid, really good receiver. I think he's going to bring a lot of good things to this Chargers team. I know when the pick came in, not a lot of people probably knew who he was, and the stats weren't staggering, but the talent level, the skill level, what he's going to be able to bring to this offense. Like he said, one of his biggest things that he is about is being able to catch the ball with his hands, not bring it into his chest, which is, I think, a lost art sometimes in the NFL. And when you have guys that are great hands catchers, they're the guys that do special things. And so I think he has that repertoire and he has that ability. And so it'll be fun to see, how he learns and progresses in this offense. And, at this point, the Chargers are lacking a true number 3. They have a bunch of good guys after the big 2, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Jalen Guyton, Tyron Johnson, drafting Joe Reed and KJ Hill last year, but no one's become that true number 3 receiver. They've all kind of got different skill sets that have shown good things in different games. I think Joe Reed could be that guy, which I was drafted and his versatility, but was just not used at all last year. KJ Hill, very rarely used. So we'll see how they step up this year, but Josh Palmer definitely has the skill set to be that true number 3. He has exactly what you want in a every down receiver. And if they run a lot of 3 receiver sets, he's a guy that can do really anything. I think he can play in the slot, play on the outside, can be a jump ball guy, can be a route technician. So yeah, going to be a lot of fun to see his growth and maturity as he gets into the NFL light. So first day of minicamp, happy to get him on in a busy day and get to chat with him a bit. All right, so let's go ahead and get into our schedule talk now. We'll look at let's start with the Chargers. We'll just stick with them since Josh Palmer did the Chargers interview, and then we'll end with the Rams schedule. So like I said, I'm just going to do 5 Chargers games and 5 Rams games that I'm most excited about. Won't get into each one. We'll talk about these 5 a little bit, what I kind of expect, but it'll be kind of brief, short, but I don't know if everyone's tired of schedule talk or not, but this will be a little something at least to touch on it. So I'm going to go ahead and just, because I'm by myself, it's more fun to share the screen, give you all something to look at besides just my ugly mug. So let's go ahead and get that rocking and rolling. So I'll basically go in order of not necessarily rank them 1 through 5. I'll just go kind of, give you 5 in order. So I'm going to start with this Cowboys game. I think the football game is going to be football team, Washington game is going to be fun too. But I just let's start with the Cowboys because it's the first home game at SoFi with fans for these Chargers. And it's going to be a interesting game because there's a couple things to look at. You have a Dallas Cowboys team that is looking to rebound after a tough year. Dak Prescott coming off of a, excruciating injury, but then also signing the most expensive contract for quarterbacks right now per year. And so, he's, coming off injury, but he's got all this expectation because of the money, but I think he'll still be a little rusty because he's really not going to practice much until these games start just because he's still rehabbing. So that, I think that benefits, the Chargers, but they have a revamped defense they've added, the 10th overall pick or 11th or 12th overall pick, Micah Parsons, who they took right before the Chargers took Rashawn Slater. So, a lot, and obviously they have a potent receiving core with, CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper and, amongst others. So, it's a solid team that's been underperforming. Mike McCarthy really underperformed as his head coach in his first season. But I think they will be a better team this year. Obviously, a lot of that is hinging on how Dak's recovery is. But I think they're definitely going to be especially in that division, they're going to be a playoff contender for sure. And so it starts this in week 2 for the Chargers. The other, I think, storyline will be historically anywhere, not just against the Chargers, the Cowboys travel very well. It's kind of the theme you'll see with this Chargers schedule is they play a lot of teams at home that travel very well. So there's going to be, depending on what happens, there's going to be this national narrative of if the Chargers can have more fans than opposing fans at this brand new SoFi Stadium. Heading into, 5th season here in LA. I knew it was going to take more time, but we're kind of at that point now where we want to start seeing that turn a little bit. So at this point, I don't think we know for sure that it's going to be fully filled. Like if they're going to allow, all 70,000 or if it's going to be half filled. I think the hope is that fully filled. I think Chargers fans out there are definitely, just based on what I've seen on Twitter, are going to be very, especially because this is the first home game, are going to be more stingy with hopefully, who they sell tickets to, or hopefully not sell them at all because everyone wants to just go see this themselves. Like if you're a season ticket holder and this is the first home game, why would you sell your tickets? I know you can make a grip of money, but you want to see the stadium yourself. So hopefully that won't even be a storyline. Hopefully it'll be the opposite. Just like, wow, look at how this fan base has turned. Look at all these amazing Chargers fans. Because we all know, all of us people that cover the Chargers truly cover the Chargers, and also fans of the Chargers know that this is a very good, strong fan base. Yeah, it's not a huge national fan base, but it's a smaller fan base, but it's a very good fan base. It's like this national narrative they can't fill a stadium. That's baloney. It's when you see these tickets on StubHub right now, after they just went on sale last week, and you have tickets going for $900. It's it's kind of hard to not be like, okay, I just paid $70 for these tickets and I can make, if I had two, spend 140 and I can make $2,000. Makes it a little challenging. I get it. But anyway, let's hope this first game doesn't become a storyline and we can just focus on the actual football game, because it's going to be a very, very good football game, and we can see how this new coaching staff really does in their first home game. So that's the first one I'm really looking forward to for the Chargers here. So moving down the list, I'm not going to do division games yet. I'm going to wait till later in the season. So Cleveland Browns. This is going to be a fun game. The Browns might have the best roster in the AFC. The Chiefs are still the Chiefs, and they're the best team until proven otherwise. But just roster from top to bottom and what the Browns were able to do in free agency and in the draft, that's a loaded team. Kevin Stefanski coming off, Coach of the Year award, just adding pieces on defense, adding more weapons on offense. Baker's not Mahomes, but Baker's a very good, capable quarterback. And if he can just, eliminate some of the mistakes, he'll just get even better. So this is a very good team. This is going to be a tough matchup for the Chargers, but it's at home. So you get that home. Cleveland doesn't travel as well as some of these other teams. So that should be a definite game where there shouldn't be a question of any opposing fans. So, but yeah, just on the football field, it's going to be a tough matchup for this defense to slow down this high-octane offense for the Browns. And this Browns defense is very good too. So if the Chargers can play well in this game, not even win necessarily, if they can play well, obviously we want to obviously win every game we can, but if they can compete and take this down to the wire, like I know they've done with many games, with many teams, I know it's frustrating for fans to hear, but with this new regime, there's going to be some growing pains. You can't expect this team to, yes, they look much better on paper. Yes, the coaching staff looks better on paper. You can't just expect them to go, 14-3 or whatever this season. Still sounds weird to say 17 games, but there's going to be some growing pains. But if they can compete with a team like the Browns, which is also weird to say, and Browns a powerhouse, then I think that bodes very well for where this Chargers team is heading into the future. So chalk that one up. Week 5, that is going to be. I'm kind of surprised it's not a primetime game, just because you have two very good young quarterbacks, you have two young coaches that are exciting. The Browns, should have beat the Chiefs last year in the playoffs, so they're coming off a hot season. The Chargers are kind of a new up-and-coming Cinderella story that everyone's kind of saying, maybe our dark horse playoff team. So I'm kind of surprised it's not primetime, but will be a good one nonetheless. Next up, Patriots game. Honestly, this game doesn't excite me that much, but I want to see how the Chargers rebound after their biggest loss in franchise history last year, 45-0. I want to see how this team bounces back. It's at home again. I'm purposely choosing all home games, but just with the matchups, this Patriots team is going to be better than they were last year. And yet, even when they were bad, they boathoused the Chargers. It was just a bad game, bad special teams. Herbert did not play his best. Offensive play calling wasn't great. The defense was just, couldn't stop them whatsoever. So obviously now everything is brand new installs, everything. But by now you're in week 8, so things should be rolling pretty good by now. There's going to be a lot of growing pains in the beginning, but by week 8, the wheels should be turning a little bit for the Chargers. So this one I have circled just to see how they can rebound after last year and prove that they've really turned that corner. Which again, it's kind of hard to say because everything's so new. But yeah, you just always want to beat the Patriots anyway. If you're all 31 of their teams, obviously you want to beat every team. But Patriots, I know Brady is now in Tampa and they just won the Super Bowl. Patriots, though, for at least another 5 years, have to always be circled as that team you really want to beat just because of their dominance for 2 decades. Okay, moving on. So, we get, I don't want to just pony up and just, only go the final division games here. But I think those are the ones that are going to come down to, because I think this division is very, very up in the air. I think even with the Chiefs, I think people locked in the Chiefs still as the team. I mean, they are the team to beat, but I think people have basically locked them in as the AFC West champs just because they've won it now, 5-6 years in a row. So that game right here, Week 15, Thursday Night Football, another home game. So against Kansas City, Herbert Mahomes will be their second meeting after meeting early in the year. Could have very high playoff implications coming down the stretch here. So this is a game that's going to be very important for this Chargers team to kind of obviously see where they stack up against the best in the AFC West. But it also could be where they're fighting for either a division or a wild card spot. And these division games, every one of them is so crucial, so critical, especially at this junction in the season. And so I think it's just going to be one that is, obviously you want to be the best. And the Chiefs have been the best in the AFC. And obviously back-to-back Super Bowls. 1 win, 1 loss. Mahomes is, the godsend of, quarterbacks. Can do no wrong. So let's see how this Brandon Staley defense really slows down Mahomes and that offense, how this offense goes up against that, very, a good defense, but nothing to write home about, at least in the past years. We'll see how they improve this year. So this is one that's a big one for me. It's one of the Chiefs games had to be circled on the schedule. I just don't want to do it in week 3. That's too soon for this new coaching staff. There's going to be, we don't know how that game's going to go. Finally, you could go either the Broncos or the Raiders. I'm going to circle the Raider game just because it's the last game of the season, week 18. How weird is that? January 9th. And just, I think this game will truly have wild card implications. Both will. Broncos game will too the week before. But I think it could be whoever wins this game, not necessarily between the Raiders, but if the Chargers can win, they'll be in the playoffs. If they lose, they could be out. I think it's going to be that close with this AFC. I think the Broncos are a much better team. If Drew Lock can even be a top 15, even a top 20 quarterback, that could be a playoff team. That's a very good roster. The Raiders I don't think so. That's just my opinion. I just don't think their roster is a playoff roster. That can change, but I don't think John Gruden's proven anything in the 3 years he's been back that they can really be a playoff team. And they haven't really improved the roster that much. Could absolutely be wrong. I haven't dove into them too much. But just where I see it, I think obviously the Chiefs, and I think the Broncos and the Chargers are better than the Raiders right now where we stand in May. So we'll see when we get closer on the season, see if any injuries happen. But I think where we stand right now, I like the Broncos and the Chargers more than the Raiders. But I'm going to circle that last game because I think that last game is going to decide, again, not necessarily for the Raiders, but will decide for the Chargers whether they're in the playoffs or not. So there's my favorite 5 games for the Chargers. They got a lot of good ones, though. I mean, Baltimore, I think, is going to be a lot of fun. Philly's going to be a lot of fun. Really, that whole NFC East, who was so bad last year. The Rams swept them last year, but I think they will all be improved this season. So they got a lot of good opponents. 3 primetime games. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. See how they stack up SoFi, and looking forward to it. Going to be a year. So, all right, let's go ahead now and head into our Rams schedule release. So, yeah, let me go ahead and pull that one up. Perfect. Here we go. So obviously opened against the Bears. Again, I'm going to wait till division games till the end. I like how the NFL schedule does that now, and maybe it's been like that for a long time. I just can't really remember thinking all the way back, but always ending, with your final division games that always have, pretty high playoff implications. So, this Bears game is intriguing. Obviously, it's the first one, open SoFi, Sunday Night Football. Is it going to be Andy Dalton? Is it going to be Justin Fields? I'm not going to have that one on there just because I just think the Rams are a way better team than the Bears right now. They're either playing a rookie quarterback for the first time, or they're playing Andy Dalton. I think this Rams defense, Rams offense, Matt Stafford. What is fun about it is the fact that it'll be the first time we see Stafford in horns. So, and it's Sunday Night Football. First time fans at SoFi. So, but just the matchup itself doesn't, I don't warrant it in my top 5. This is the 4th time in 4 years they played the Bears. I think they've been 3-1 overall. So, yeah, just doesn't totally do it for me. I think it'll be not a super exciting game, like pretty much all the Rams Bears game have been, but it'll still be a good one. Good storylines. I'm just not gonna have a top 5. I am gonna have this Colts game at Indianapolis in week 2. This Colts team is another one that didn't lose much. Obviously, they lost Phillip Rivers to retirement. But trade for Carson Wentz, reunited with Frank Reich. If Carson Wentz is the quarterback that he was 2 years ago, then this is a better Colts team with the retirement of Phillip Rivers. Because Carson Wentz can give you a lot more. I know if Chargers fans are still listening, probably don't want to hear this, but at this point in their careers, the upside of Carson Wentz is much higher than what was of Phillip Rivers. Now, we saw the floor of Carson Wentz last year, and that's also much worse than what Phillip Rivers is. So this could be either one of those where we see Jacoby Brissett playing in week 6, or this could be where Carson Wentz ends up having an MVP type season. Just because I think the talent is there. It's just one of those, what happened in Philly? I mean, it was just interesting, and and who knows? I mean, it's hard to say because he's that guy that had that like really 1 to 2 really good seasons. It wasn't like he had sustained and then all of a sudden just fell apart for 1 year. So there wasn't a lot of proven success over time. But when you saw what he was able to do with that MVP type season before he got injured against the Rams, you could see a quarterback that's like, damn, this guy is a good quarterback, has all the intangibles. He's a good leader, has a good arm strength. He can move in the pocket, and just kind of lost it along the way. And, Philly was a mess last year. So if he can get that back, he's a very, very good quarterback in this league, and he makes this Colts team better, which will be fun to watch for Aaron Donald, Leonard Floyd, Jalen Ramsey, and this Rams defense. And then we get to see Matthew Stafford in his second game, his first road game in a dome, see what he's able to do. It's going to be a good test for this Rams team because the Colts, they're a playoff team. I think they'll be a playoff team again this year, and so we'll see how they stack up. Next, you gotta circle it. Anytime you play the Super Bowl champs, you gotta circle it. Come back home to SoFi in week 3. Brady and the Bucks. The Rams beat him last year. Goff had a up and down game, had 2 pretty egregious interceptions, but then also threw some good touchdown passes. The defense played well. Jordan Fuller, I think, had two interceptions that game. The pass rush was able to get in Brady's face, which I think they'll be able to do again here. So this is another really fun matchup. Kind of surprised it's not prime time like it was last year. But the Rams did get like 5 primetime games, so you can only give them so many. But yeah, anytime you play Super Bowl champs, always got to circle that game because it's going to be a fun one. And you always want to beat the Super Bowl champs, right? You got to beat them. And it's Brady. Always want to beat Brady no matter what. Maybe this guy will start seeing ghosts finally and retire. So next one I'm circling. When was the last time that a team ever circled the Detroit Lions game as one that you're looking forward to? Has there ever been a time other than when they play on Thanksgiving, maybe just because it's Thanksgiving, but has a team ever in the last 15 years said, yeah, I think I'm really looking at that Lions game. Let's have that circled as our top 5. Well, this year the storylines are great. I think the Lions are going to be they're in like full rebuild, but I think they will be a little improved than last year. It'll be interesting because they basically lost their entire receiving core. Obviously, they have a new quarterback in town with Jared Goff, which is why I'm circling this game. Stafford versus Goff. Goff's return to LA. But they have a very good offensive line. Added some running back pieces. A formidable defense. It'll all come down to how this coaching staff is and how they did in the draft and, how these young pieces play out. But I think they could be improved. I mean, they can't get a whole lot worse than what they were. But yeah, the main storyline for this is Stafford versus Goff. Goff's return to LA. I think he'll get some cheers. I mean, he didn't leave in bad terms. I know fans were fed up with him and, sick of, the poor play, the poor decision making. But it wasn't like he was like hated amongst fans. I don't think anyone would say, man, I hate Jared Goff. Like he did great stuff in the community, still doing stuff in the LA community, even though he's now been traded. So yeah, I think he should. I think he deserves to get cheers, leading this team to the Super Bowl just 3 years ago. Being a number 1 overall pick. Was always a class guy, class act, never got in trouble, always, good teammate. So hopefully he does get cheers because I think he deserves it. I just think it was time for both organizations to move on. And obviously the Rams were able to upgrade Stafford. So that's the storyline there. And that's why that game's going to be really fun to watch, I think. Should be a pretty easy win for the Rams. Should be. But yeah, we'll see how that plays out. So, okay, let's see. I want to make sure. Okay, I'll wait for that Niners game because obviously a Niners game is for sure going to make this list. I got 2 games left here in my top 5, and I'm going to go at Green Bay, November 28th. Getting cold now. They were just in Lambeau last January, lost. Is Rodgers playing? Is it Jordan Love? Is it Blake Bortles, former Ram? Who's playing quarterback? Are Green Bay the clubhouse leaders, if Rodgers is there? Are they a dumpster fire and basically a rebuild? A lot of really interesting storylines that we have no idea what it'll be until we get to November 20, or really until we get till week 1 of the NFL season. Because we'll see if Rodgers is suited up or if he's retired or if he's on another team. If he's on another team or retired, then this game kind of probably goes out of the top 5. Because I think the Packers' success more than probably any team. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. But just off the top of my head, probably more than any team, their success is stringent on Aaron Rodgers. I think some other teams that have really good quarterbacks could plug in their backup and still be good. Obviously, they're going to be a drop-off. Seattle might be another one without Russ. I think they would be a big drop-off. But, I think as good as like Justin Herbert is, I think Chase Daniel goes out, they're not just going to be a 2-win team. They have a good roster where they could still be competitive. Obviously, a few game difference, but they could be different. There's a lot, but just off the top of my head, I think the most is Green Bay. Like you go from Aaron Rodgers to either Blake Bortles or Jordan Love. You're going 13-3 last year, having the MVP. Probably this year, if he's there, there's still going to be a 13-4 or a 12-5 team to all of a sudden now an under 500 team like that. Easily, maybe worse. Won't be like the Saints where, Drew Brees gets hurt and they have their backup, either Jameis or Taysom Hill come in and they still rattle off like 4 or 5 wins. I don't think their roster is that good. So, game changes a lot. But if Rodgers is there, this Week 12 game is going to be huge because this is a battle for the top in the NFC, I think. I think the Rams, I was on Locked On Rams with Sosa Cremenges just last week, and that's what we talked about. Like, who's the contender outside of Tampa Bay in the NFC? Are the Rams the favorite outside of them? And I think they are. I think what hurts them is their division, that they play 3 other teams twice, so 6 total games that are all playoff teams, potential playoff teams. Obviously, Niners and Cardinals didn't make it last year, but if both are healthy, both are absolutely potential playoff teams, and they have to play all of them 6 times. So that's what hurts the Rams, is just how good that division is. But I do think top to bottom, coaching staff, they are a top 3 team in the NFC, probably top 5 in the NFL. And this game with the Packers, if Rodgers is there, will kind of be the deciding factor on either who's the best, who's the second best, who's one of the top guys in the NFC. So finally, a lot of good games here at the end. And this is a tough stretch, man. At Arizona, home against Seattle, at Minnesota, at Baltimore, and at home against San Francisco. Tough, brutal stretch in the season. So they got to stack some wins here early on against some of these lesser opponents. Because even though I think the Rams are a true contender, when you win with that brutal of a schedule, I mean, Arizona very well should be a playoff team with that roster. It really comes down to Cliff Kingsbury, because they should be a playoff team with who they have on that roster. Seattle, as long as you have Russell Wilson, as long as he's healthy, they're a playoff team. Minnesota did a lot of things to improve their defense. I think they went 7-9 last year. This could definitely be a playoff team, especially in the very unknowing NFC North with what's going on there. But they're going to be a much improved team. That defense, the offense is very good. They have a great receiving core. Justin Jefferson, phenomenal young receiver. Dalvin Cook. Kirk Cousins, say what you say about him, but he's a good quarterback. He's a plenty fine quarterback. He's not a game changer, but he's a fine quarterback. So that's going to be a tough game. At Baltimore, former MVP and Lamar Jackson. Tough to play. Cold weather. You're outside right after New Year's Day. So that's going to be a tough one. They did a lot to add to their defense as well. But I got to circle this final game against San Francisco, because this could be deciding who wins the division. This could be deciding who makes the wild card, or it could be both teams are already in, but man, Sean McVay needs to beat Kyle Shanahan. Any one of those scenarios, I think, will be in play. There's no way neither of these teams are in playoff contention. If one team isn't, I think it'll be the Niners. I know a lot of people love the Niners, and they say, you know what, if they're healthy, they're a top 3 roster. I don't disagree necessarily, but I also just think there's a lot of question marks at quarterback. Is Jimmy G playing the whole year? If he gets hurt, is Trey Lance ready? Does Trey Lance start at the gate? Is he ready after playing at North Dakota State and then not playing at all last year because, the league shut down for COVID? So they have some question marks still. Yes, they're getting players back on defense, but still, Nick Bosa coming off an ACL tear. You don't know if he's going to be a game changer right off the bat. We saw Bradley Chubb with the Broncos, same injury, tore his ACL. Took him a few games to get back into it. Everyone's just assuming all of a sudden, Nick Bosa will be back. They have one of the best pass rushers. It's going to take a few games. I think he'll get there. I'm not worried about that for them. But it's not like all of a sudden he's just going to be wrecking games week 1. Now, by week 18, when this game is, he should be back in full form if he's healthy still. So either way, it's the Niners. I love Niners week. I think since I've been covering the Rams, you can make the argument that the Seahawks are their biggest rival. You make the argument. But the correct answer is the Niners. It's California, NorCal, SoCal. The Niners have kind of had the Rams number the last few years. Both teams went to the Super Bowl back-to-back years. Both lost. 2 young coaches hired the exact same offseason. Similar style of coaching. Both offensive masterminds. A lot of just great storylines. So I love Niners week. I love the fans, how they get into it. The vitriol. The smack talk. It's glorious. So this is probably the game I'm looking forward to maybe most. Just love the rivalry. And I love that it's the last game of the year at home in SoFi. Time for McVay to prove himself and beat Kyle Shanahan. McVay is the better coach than Shanahan. Hasn't had a losing season yet. Shanahan's had 3. Blame injuries all you want. 3 losing seasons out of 4. McVay hasn't had 1. His only non-playoff season, they still went 9-7. So, great storylines. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. All right. So there you have it. There's the 5 games I am most looking forward to for both the Chargers and Rams. Of course, I forgot to change the menu there. When you're doing this on the fly, it's hard to sometimes remember. So sorry about that, Rams fans. 5 Rams games I'm most looking forward to is what the menu I should have had if you're watching on YouTube. Just put it on. But anyway, appreciate you all for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed that interview with Josh Palmer. Awesome kid. Super stoked to see his development and how he does for the Chargers. But yeah, excited tomorrow, Saturday morning, 9 a.m., depending when you're listening to this show, but 9 a.m., LAFB Live. We will be on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, or right on the LAFB.com, LAFBnetwork.com website. You can watch us. We'll go more in depth of the schedule. I'll tell you that. That's what LFB Live will be. We're going to go into each game for both the Rams and Chargers, have some banter, have some fun with it, and do that. So, but thank you for tuning into the LA Football Podcast. Make sure to subscribe wherever you listen. We are everywhere you listen. Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, everywhere you listen, we are. If you like watching us, head to YouTube at LAFB Network. Please subscribe there. It helps us out a ton. We're over 500 subscribers. We want to get to 1,000. That's our next goal. And we want to get to 2,000. To the moon is the goal. But right now we're at 500. Help us get that number up, especially if you watch. Just hit the subscribe. It helps us out. It really does. But thank you so much for tuning in. We can't do this without you. Really appreciate it. Looking forward to just the continued content that we have lined up for this off season. And make sure to check out all we're doing at LA Football Network. We got other great shows we've added. Chargers Unleashed is killing it right now. Got the Rams Brothers podcast, 2 awesome guys that I've had a blast getting to know. So they're on the network now. Got Compas on the Beat with Fernando Ramirez and Gilbert Manzano, which is a really fun show. They're doing a lot of great interviews. So we're doing great stuff. We got LA Confidential, the Desai guys, also a couple podcasts here. And then obviously all of our written content. So we got some awesome, talented people that are doing great Rams, great Chargers, great Bruins, great Trojans, digital content here. And then we have some merchandise that we are working on, some new licensing stuff with some players as well that we're dropping here during the offseason. So stay tuned for that. Shout out to all of our sponsors, Brewery X, Garrison Brothers, Manscaped, BetOnline. Appreciate you. I'm Ryan Dyrud. You can find me on Twitter at Ryan Dyrud, LAFB, main account at LAFB Network on all of the socials. All of you have a great weekend. Stay healthy, stay safe, and hit me up. Let's talk LA football all the time, 24/7 at Ryan Dyrud, LAFB on Twitter. And we'll talk to you guys here in just a couple days.